This is important because for BMXers, balance is everything, and the triangle gives the frame balance. So when BMXers go off stairs or ramps, they have more balance, and the frame is small too. That's why.
Alright, so the wheel has to be a circle, because if it wasn't a circle, it would be very hard to ride. Like, for example, a square, it will ride super slow and will not ride smoothly like a circle does. For example, if you want to see an example, I'll write it. Notice how I rode smoothly.
Right. So this is an acute angle, and this is an acute angle. This one is important because this one keeps the handlebars in place. It keeps the wheel in place, and the back one is important because this keeps the wheel in place. Both acute angles are significant because if there were obtuse angles, the wheels would be too big, and BMXers wouldn't be able to use them.
Lines is our next topic because these two eventually intersect. They don't look like it because the tube stops them, but eventually they will intersect, and it finally intersect. And if they didn't look like that, then that means they will be parallel, and the frame will not be a triangle, which makes it easier to ride. It will be a square, and this will interfere with the riding of the front wheel.
Right, so our next topic is congruent sides. So the handlebars are congruent. This is important because if they weren't congruent, bikers wouldn't have the same type of grip, and this is important because it would feel off if the rider was doing a trick, and this one would be different, and this one would be different.
The frame, as we spoken about already, is a triangle, which is a polygon. A polygon has no curves, has no gaps, and the significance of this is if it had a gap, one of these pieces will be loose, and if it had curves, well, it kind of does have curves, but at the same time it has points, and it have like super curves, then the bike would be kind of off, and it would be hard to ride and do BMX tricks.
So our next topic is altitude. This middle tube, it's important because it keeps the seat in place, and it's important for bikers because it makes them get comfortable and stuff, and it also keeps the pedals in place, so the cranks go spinning. And also it's important because it keeps these two angles
distance, and this is the bottom bracket which keeps this all this secure, and the pedals, and this is the back wheel axle. Now the distance, which is this, has always never change. Actually, it has never. If it changes, then the back wheel will never ride, and it will be too inwards, so it will be very hard to ride. It might scrape against the metal, thus making your wheels very dull. The front part of the front wheel and the back part of the back wheel makes a line segment, even though it's invisible. The significance about this is that it's a straight line segment. If it wasn't, then the wheels would be crooked, and you wouldn't ride as well, and it would be hard to ride the bike. And since it goes straight and smooth. The seat angle depends on the frame. The smaller the frame, the steeper the angle. And this is significant because if the frame was too big, then the angle will be pretty not steep, so it will be very
straight angle. The frame needs to be straight, so you could be able to pop a wheelie. As you can see, it's straight. But if it was at a different angle, you would be able not to pull a wheelie. All right.
You might fall if you don't keep it straight.
This is how you keep it straight. If it was straight, but if it was at an angle, you would be able to fall sideways. Alright, so the pedals are a good example of segments. This is important because if the bar kept going straight, it would interfere with the wheel and the ground, and that's not very good for pedals.
Our next example is perpendicular. This tube right here is perpendicular to this right here, and that is significant because it makes the steering easier and very efficient. There's obtuse angles. If you notice right here, this line making an obtuse angle, that is significant because it helps keep the wheel in the back. If it was a right angle, thus making a straight line like this, there will be no room for the back wheel, Also, if it was an acute angle, which makes it like this, there will be no room for the back wheel. This tube and this tube are parallel. That makes them straight, which is significant because if they weren't parallel and one was to the side, eventually they will intersect, or the wheel also will be more crooked, thus making tricks harder to.
This has been our geometry in our BMX bikes. Like.